I mean, it's a losing battle. I don't know what was in the mind of the once anointed cherub to twist the violent turning inside until wickedness, a violent revolt, a willed revolt against God, transmuting himself, changing the structure of his being eternally. And so is every fallen angelic entity that has followed him. I don't know the voice, maybe the arrows, maybe the whispers, maybe coming through the possessed. I've heard the voice of these ancient fallen ones. I've heard these spirits speak and yell and scream and mock God and do. I've seen them completely frozen at the authority of Christ. We've seen the power encounters again and again and again. And let me tell you something, there's no glory in talking about it. That side makes me sick. It's the filth of hell. It is the ugliness. It is the cause behind the deception and the seduction there in the garden. Mankind did not sin alone. We didn't just sit there on our own and decide we're going to rebel against God. We don't like living as eternal beings. We don't like living in this majesty. We don't like living showing the imago Dei, walking and seeing God face to face. We don't like this, so we're going to listen to an... they didn't just decide to sin. There was an engagement, a powerful engagement. So seeing into the future is going to deal a lot with that. It will actually tell us about the actual details of future human history. It's supernatural. I don't know where else. We'll take a look at some of the other places where people are looking to it, but I want you to see this. All of us here are clearly concerned about the future. Economics, environment, the President of the United States, presidents of other nations. It's not just about America. It's not just about America for the dark side. The belly of the beast, Europe. Look at the prophecies. Where do they point? Where's the rise of the regime? How far has it gotten? And when will it occur? Let's take a look at the next slide. We're going to just kind of go through these as we talk tonight. And that's the prayer, and I give one verse out of Proverbs 3. Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked, for the Lord will be your confidence and keep your foot from being snared. Amen? Next slide. Let's go through a number of these things. Number one, concerning seeing into the future, the desire for it. The desire for it. I mean, how many here ever looked in the past? I'm talking about the past, astrology. That's about the future. Palm reading. That's about the future. What about tarot cards? That has something to do with the future. What about remote viewing? And the next generation of remote viewers, and the third generation of remote viewers. They're looking to the past. They're trying to remote view Satan, and they're looking into the future. And billions of dollars are being spent on remote viewers by corporations and companies and military. They're looking into the future. People are wondering about time travel into the future. We're going to take a look tomorrow how to time travel biblically to Revelation 19:19. And then we're going to look at the implications of Revelation 19:19, and we're going to step back and see what does it take to get there. So the desire for looking into the future is something that all of us, do you want to know what's going to happen tomorrow? Are we going to be here tomorrow? We're all planning for it. We all planned for tonight. We prepared everything. We got the little blue slides made. You know, we planned for a lot of things. But the good thing, being open to God, then other things can occur. Prayers can occur for other individuals. I'm glad the conferences that have been being engaged lately, people have gotten saved, people have gotten delivered and prayed for. They've been really great. And so I've got to say that I appreciate Tom Dunn and his wife and all the things that go into setting these up, and to Deb and to Don and to all that happens behind the scenes. Truly, they've had more hours put into this probably than the speakers themselves. Next slide. The attempts. Take a look at the attempts. Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet, connected to the Akashic records. Data is coming down. The spiritual entities, the energies, and this is why I always say that behind the energies are the entities. Behind the data flowing down are the entities. They have vast power of deception, vast power. It is suprahuman. It is beyond fallen humanity to be able to tap in and say, what is that? Where's it coming from? The desire for it is clear. Nostradamus effect, History Channel, again and again and again it plays. The desire for it is clear. The attempts for it, Sylvia Brown. The psychics all around us. The psychic channels that people spend literally millions of dollars sitting before the psychic. Tell me what's going to happen. Tell me about a guy in my life. Tell me about my health. It's all about future issues. And there are finite sources on a human scale that can, in some ways, calculate events. There are supernatural finite attempts, and they work sometimes. Acts chapter 16, a little girl being spiritually prostituted by the men of the city in a temple where the goddess, the Nephilim, whatever she was, it was a very highly spiritually controlled city. And the Greek word python, there was a python inside of her, a demon, a powerful spirit by which she predicted the future, and they were making money. Agitated, because what was in her was not the same that was in Saul of Tarsus, who is now Paul, who is now saved, who is now filled, now a missionary. And so there's agitation. And so there's this uncomfortable sense of two kingdoms, one inside one and one inside the other. She walks around. These are men of the Most High God. Was she mocking? What was she doing? I've listened to them mock. I have listened to them scream. I've listened to them threaten. I've listened to them speak backwards in other languages. I've listened. I've heard them. I've heard them again and again and again. I heard through a German subpersonality in a high-powered cult multiple. In the face of all these law officers chained and leg chained on the ground, by whatever power, the enemy's power, he rose up. He literally rose up and screamed. You've heard these words. We are the legions that shall rule the earth. If you didn't understand, biblically revealed, the other side knows what they're doing. They know what they want. They know what the plot is. They know what the plan is. They're not just running around like a bunch of little imps wondering what's going to happen next, and Satan comes up with a new idea. It is plotted, it is planned, it's sequential. And biblical prophecy shows that Satan makes it so far, well, all the way to Armageddon. That means globalism. That means the abyss. That means Antichrist on earth. That means the false prophet who ascends out of the earth. That means billions die in less than 4 or 5 years. It's an incredible sight. Now, when I deal with the Luciferians, they have prophecies and prophetic words in their meetings. They have things that and listen, a lot of it is the promises. Satanic counterfeit prophecies really are satanic promises that maybe sometimes that side can fulfill, being only finite, but enough to dazzle hearts and lives, enough to grip people who have not seen the other side, experienced the power of God, felt the love or the breath of God's Spirit on their lives, or seen the hand of God in some incredible encounter that comes from the infinite and not the finite. Next slide. The past in biblical prophecy, are we kidding? Did you know there's about 300 prophecies or more just in reference to Christ the first time? Unto us, what? A child is born, a son's given, a virgin will be a child. Emmanuel, mighty God, wonderful counselor, everlasting Father, 700 years prior. Again and again, the prophecies of Judas, the prophecies of 30 pieces of silver, the prophecies of the resurrection of Christ, Psalm 16, 1,000 years in advance. Now, let me ask you something. Did the Old Testament have a lot of biblical content about the first coming of God in human flesh? Absolutely. Was there a lot of content? Absolutely. Massive content.